Hello, guys. It's going live on YouTube. This is Two Powers in Heaven, Revealing Israel's Second God, Part 2. Okay. So, yeah. Let's put this before we start. We'll wait 30 seconds. Wait a second. Guys. Welcome back. Can y'all see that on the screen? All right. Today, we're going over Two Powers in Heaven, Revealing Israel's Second God, Part 2. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get started. We stopped at here, right here. Okay, let's get started. 36 EG, where God is spoken in the plural. Genesis 1:26. Ibid 27. Genesis 5:7. I'm pretty sure. Ibid 5. Sorry if I mispronounce them, because I'm not that familiar with Roman numerals. I only know like up to 5. Ivy. I'm pretty sure Ivy's 5, right? So this is 6, I think. Yeah, but it's all these. These are all verses. I don't understand why they just didn't, say like the normal verse, but yeah. I'll give you a link in the description. Here we go. Probably gonna be, a short life. Wait a second. All right. And 49 is the Messiah, but all of these are verses, basically. I think. By asserting that a human being sit beside him, naming a treatise. Wait a second. Sorry again. So, alright, I'm back. By asserting that human beings sit beside him, names of treatises in Seder Horeth, the most difficult in the whole land of Talmud. Okay. Our Akiba has great authority on these laws, whereas his Haggadic interpretations were not always acceptable. This interpretation involved the same danger as that of Rabbi Akiba's first interpretation, in that it tended to obscure the true monotheistic concept of God. And all of these are, I guess, verses. Go check chat rate. Yeah. No viewers. Name of an angel probably derived from Metator guide. In Talmud and Midrash, he is regularly, notably, as a defender of the rights of Israel. Okay. The numerical value of Metatron, H, is equal to that of H, the Almighty. Ooh, okay, so are you telling me this angel is equal to that of Almighty God? Metatron. I don't know. I'm still trying to keep this because the Roman numerals make it harder for me to understand. H, which is the numerical value of a Metatron, is here taken in the sense of exchange from H. Dang. Sorry. Oh, dang, bro. Ah. Sorry, bro. I just like twisted my leg on accident. Oh, it hurts. Yeah. But I'm okay. Okay. H here is taken in the sense of exchange from H. He is not to be worshipped but God alone. A bit surely he has no authority to do so. But we also hold the belief, postman of forgiveness. The man was a believer in the doctrine of two rulers, and he sought support for this belief from Exodus. I don't know how to read that Roman numeral again, but it's one. Rabbi Edith met his argument by showing that even Metatron was accepted by Jews only as a guide, in no sense a second God. For a full discussion of the passage, we head therefore Genesis 24. A figure frequently mentioned in the Talmud as a specific type in Roman literature. He is an object of ridicule. In rabbinic lore, he plays a more dignified role. Genesis something. Okay. Genesis 5:23. Okay. Probably of these those collected by Rabbi Meir, since many of their fox fables are found scattered throughout the Talmud and Midrash. I'm pretty sure this whole thing all there was just rabbis responding to them. I'm pretty sure instead of defending, you know what? All right, Jehovah's an angel named a cat trio who prays. You know what? Oh, okay. This is something I've never learned. So if y'all never learned this too, then I guess we get to see this. All right. Wait a second. I'm doing something on StreamYard again. Oh yeah. By the way, I've been using StreamYard to record and stuff. It's a good recording app if you're a content creator. So I would suggest using that. It's really good. What? All right. Rabbi Johanan says, in the name of Rabbi Jos, how do we know that the Holy One, blessed be He, says prayers? Because it says, even them will I bring to my holy mountain and make them joyful in my house of prayer. It is not said their prayer, but my prayer. Hence you learn that the Holy One, blessed be He, says prayers. Huh? What does he pray? Rabbi Tutra Toby said, in the name of Rabbi, may it be my will that my mercy may suppress my anger, and that my mercy may prevail over my other attributes, so that I may deal with my children in the attribute of mercy, and their behalf stop short of the limit of strict justice. Wait, what? Their God praise? What? So, who is he praying to? That's my question. Okay. May prevail over my other attributes. Okay. That my mercy may prevail over my other attributes. So that I may deal with my children in the attribute of mercy, and on their behalf stop short of the limit of strict justice. It was taught. Rabbi Ishmael B. Elisha says, I once entered into the innermost part of the sanctuary to offer incense and saw a cat thrill, Jah, the Lord of hosts, seated upon a high and exalted throne. He said to me, Ishmael, my son, bless me. Huh? Wait, what? Bless? Okay. Ishmael. Oh, it's Ishmael the rabbi. I was about to say Ishmael the other. I replied, May it be that may it be thy will that thy mercy may suppress thy anger, and thy mercy may prevail over other attributes, so that thou mayest deal with thy children according to the attribute of mercy, and mayest on their behalf stop short of the limit of strict justice. And he nodded to me with his head. Here we learn incidentally the blessing of an ordinary man must not be considered lightly in your eyes. So, I guess there was an angel named Akitrail who prays. Oh, okay. So then he prays. That's confusing. Peter Scoffer, considered the foremost authority on Judaism today, cites and comments on another version of the same rabbinic tradition. A Catriel is Metatron and God. Oh, so he's gone. Okay. So then he prays. Peter's okay. There is yet another version of ascent of Elisha ben Avuwa in the Hekhalat literature. This time, not the third book of Enoch, but as an independent literary unit titled "The Mystery of Sonda Lafon." It is not known where or when it was written, but in its present form, it can be found only in Hekhalat literature. Elisha ben Avuway said, When I ascended to the parties, I held a trio, Yahweh, I'm pretty sure, the Lord of hosts. Okay, so yes, this angel is God, the Lord of hosts, who sits at the entrance of the parties, and 120 myriads of ministering angels surround him. As it is said, thousands upon thousands served him, and myriads upon myriads, etc. Stood 10:10. Daniel 7:10. Okay. When I saw them, I was alarmed and startled. Regained my composure and regained my composure and entered there before the Holy One. Blessed be He. I said before him, Lord of the world, you wrote in your Torah, behold to the Lord, your God, belong heaven and the heavens of heaven, etc. Deuteronomy 10:14. And it is written, the heavens are telling the glory of God, and the firmament declares the works of his hands. Psalm 19:2, one alone. He said to me, Elisha, my son, have you perhaps come in order to reflect upon my mysteries? Have you now heard the parable that he means being applied? The text breaks off here, and the continuation with the parable is missing in both manuscripts. In MS Oxford, colophon follows, and in MS New York, described as I found no parable, and then continues with the work. Harba de Moshe, the sword of Moses. Okay. Sorry. Okay. All right. There is no doubt that this is yet another version of the narrative on Elisha ben Avua's ascent to heaven and his encounter with Metatron. Here, however, Elisha is not called a her, and as we will see, also not a heretic. Metatron is referred to here as a Keat trail and assumes the same function as Metatron does in Enoch and Enoch and in Bavli, and consequently his throne stands at the entrance of the seventh heaven and not at its center. But he is nevertheless served by the myriads of angels from Daniel 7 standing around his throne, because the Daniel verse refers to the Ancient of Days and thus clearly to God. Other qualities of God in addition to sitting are attributed to angel Aketrael. It is thus not surprising that in view of this presumed second God, Elisha becomes ashamed and startled. In contrast to the version in Enoch 3 and the Bavli discussed earlier, here Elisha does not draw the heretical conclusion that there are two gods in heaven, for which he would have been punished. On the contrary, he enters the seventh heaven and evidently at the center step before the throne of God. Wait a minute. Oh no, could you all not hear me? Yikes, dude. I don't think anyone could have heard me because I was on mute. Sorry. Let me check if it works on mute. Okay, can y'all hear me? Or is it just my thing? Oh, I think it's working, I think. Never mind. On the contrary, he enters the seventh heaven and evidently at the center steps before the throne of God, who is clearly identified as such through the epithet. Sorry. The Holy One, blessed be he. Here, something unexpected happened. Elisha is transformed from the protagonist of the idea of two gods in heaven, and thus the arc heretic, into an opponent of this idea, of which he accuses none other than God himself. He does this with two Bible verses that clarify the heaven of heavens, that is, all seven heavens, belong to God alone. Deuteronomy 10:14. And for that reason, the heavens praise the glory of God, and the firmament, the Hebrew word for firmament, raquia, and Hekalah literature is also a technical name for one of the seven heavens. Announces the work of his hands. In other words, he accuses God of violating his own Torah by enthroning a Ketriel, surrounded by his ministering angels. At the entrance to the seventh heaven, although the Torah clearly states that there can only be one God alone, according to this version, the heretic himself is, it says, God himself. I'm not going to try to say that. And how does God respond? He gruffly reapproaches Elisha and rather hotly lets him know that it is not Elisha's responsibility to speculate about God's mysteries. Okay. Rabbinic polemics against the second power. So, and somehow Elisha thinks there's a second God or something. Okay. Rabbinic polemics against the second power. Suffice it to say, the rabbis were not pleased with this and sought to censure any Jew who would use these statements to affirm and argue that God exists as a multi-personal being. They did so by fabricating myths about God punishing Metatron for allowing a heretic to confuse him for being the true God without God's chief angel correcting him. So they lied. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay. I'm gonna. See something. All right. Suffice it to say. Okay. Wait. The Gemara stayed earlier that Ahira shot down the saplings, becoming a heretic. With regard to him, the verse states, "Do not let your mouth bring your flesh into guilt." Ecclesiastes 5:5. The Gemara poses a question: what was it that led him to heresy? He saw the angel Metatron, who was granted permission to sit and write the merits of Israel. He said, "There is a tradition that in the world above there is no sitting, no composition, no turning one's back before him. All face the divine presence in no lethargy." Seeing that someone other than God was seated above, he said, "Perhaps the Gemara have interjects. Heaven forbid there are two authorities in heaven. Authority. And there is another source of power and control of the world in addition to God." Such thoughts led her to heresy. The Gemara relates, they removed Metatron from his place in heaven and smote him. Gemara relates, they removed Metatron from heaven and smote him with 60 rods, pulsi, of fire, so that others would not make mistake that her made. They said to the angel, "What is the reason that when you saw Elisha ben Avua, you did not stand before him?" Despite this conduct, since Metatron was personally involved, he was granted permission to erase the merits of her and cause him to stumble in any manner. A divine voice went forth, saying, "Rebellious children, return, rebellious children." Jeremiah 3:22. Apart from her. Upon hearing this, Elisha ben Avua said, "Since that man, meaning himself, has been banished from that world, let him go out and enjoy this world." Her went astray. He went and found a prostitute and solicited her for intercourse. And she said to him, Are you not Elisha ben Avua? Shall a person of your stature perform such an act?" He uprooted a radish from a patch of radishes on Shabbat and gave it to her to demonstrate he no longer observed the Torah. The prostitute said, "He is other than he was. He is not the same Elisha ben Avua. He is a her, other." Another translation reads, dang, this is hard for me to understand. If it's hard for y'all to understand, I'll try to clear it up, but it's really hard for me too to understand as well. Like, is this like verses or stuff? Like, these are rabbis against the second power, saying how, well, her is Elijah, but somehow he became a heretic for saying that there's two powers, I'm pretty sure. Another translation reads, "Her mutilated the shoots of him." Scripture says, "Suffer not thy mouth to bring thy flesh into guilt." What does it refer to? He saw that that permission was granted to Metatron to sit and write down the merits of Israel. Said he, "It is taught as a tradition that on high there is no sitting in emulation, no emulation, and no and no back, and no weariness. Perhaps God forfend. There are two divinities. Thereupon, they led Metatron forth and punished him with 60 fiery lashes, saying to him, "Why didst thou not rise before him when thou didst see him?" Permission was then given to him to strike out the merits of her. Abapkol went forward and said, "Returning ye backsliding children, except her." Thereupon he said, Since I have driven forth from yonder world, let me go forth and enjoy this world." So Ahur went forth into evil courses. He went forth, found a harlot, and demanded her. She said to him, "Art thou not Elisha be a Buddha?" But when he tore a radish out of his bed on the Sabbath and gave it to her, she said, "It is another Ahur." Okay. This like whole this whole like thing it's really confusing for me. But my guess of what they're saying is that is it like that this is what the happened to, because the rabbis obviously weren't happy about this, and they did lie. They did so fabricating myths about God punishing Metatron. So this didn't actually happen, I'm pretty sure. So this was just lies the rabbis made. These are all like verses and stuff. The name of one of the highest angels, various derivations of the world has suggested. Okay. For an illuminating article on the character, activities, and identity of Metatron. The sentence may also be rendered thus: He saw M, to whom permission was given to be seated while writing down, etc. I in heaven. Reads no standing, no sitting, no effort, no rest. This reading in reverse order was known to Maim. Okay, but Rashi deletes the words "no standing." The angels have faces in all directions. Jas explains, i.e., everything is in sight. Maim renders no division. Ain't no junction. Okay. He was beaten with heated disc or rings strung on the lash. The purpose of the punishment was to show that had no more power than others. Tosaf. According to our passages, Ahur is guilty of heresy of dualism. Denies all historic worth to the story given here, which on the account of its reference to Metatron, which he declares to be specifically Babylonian idea, and it lacks of connection with the introductory words. He declares to be of late origin. Ginsburg prefers the parallel account in J. Haggai, or I don't know what book this is. 2:1, where it is related that when Elisha saw a scholar, he slew him. That he enticed the young from studying the Torah, and that he informed against the Jews when they sought to perform the work they were ordered to do on the Sabbath in a manner not to break the law. These events undoubtedly refer to the period of the Hadrianic persecutions, and the JT2 reasons are mentioned for his apostasy. According to some, he saw one man break the precept of Deuteronomy, I don't know what that is, 7, without coming to harm, and another observe it and get killed. According to others, he saw the tongue of the great scholar Rabbi Judah Nahum in the mouth of a dog. The JT also gives a different version of the verses discussed by Elisha. with Rabbi Meir and of what Rabbi Meir said on his master's death. Lit, okay. That man, a frequent euphemism for I or thou to avoid ominous speech or curse, okay. Takes longer than I thought. Sorry. He would have no share in the world to come. Let evil growth, hence evil rearing manners, ways. The stories that follow show the expression to me here are moral depravity and apostasy. Strictly the soft tuber of the radish hers, thus explained to me another person, takes the view that it is euphemism for a vile thing, including remarks. Okay, this is the conclusion. So this will clear up the dust, I guess, of what is actually. The foregoing citation should help the reader see that the rabbis themselves realize and had to contend with the fact that the Hebrew Bible itself reveals that there are at least two divine powers ruling together in heaven. Yeah, they literally had to lie about it. They had to lie just to cover that up. The rabbis were forced to contend with specific groups such as Christians who were reciting verses where God is described with plural pronouns, verbs, participles, etc., or where the angel of the Lord is equated with Yahweh himself, to prove that Israel's God is a multi-personal being. The rabbis had to further address certain individuals from their own camp, Rabbi Akiva, Elisha ben Avua, etc., that also believed and taught that there were two heavenly divine powers. There has to be at least two, because from the Old Testament, at least. The fact is that the rabbinic responses to the clear, unambiguous testimony of the Hebrew prophets that the God of Israel is multi-personal by nature leaves a lot to be desired, as can be rebuttals be seen from some of the many responses to the rabbinic arguments. I will link some of these rebuttals at the conclusion of my post. Suffice it to say, these rabbinic citations are a great aid in helping Jews and various non-Trinitarian cults and groups realize that the revelations of God's Trinity, or I don't know, is not merely based upon the inspired witness of the New Testament writings. Rather, the Trinity of God, Trinity, I don't know, Trinity, is a revelation which has deep roots in the Hebrew scriptures themselves. After the time of Christ, certain segments of Judaism began to identify Enoch with both the Danielic Son of Man and the chief angel Metatron. This is readily seen in the work called Third Enoch, which scholars believe was composed during the 5th century AD. Term Ahur, lit, and other is a name believed to be given to Elisha ben Avua. Okay, Avua was a Jewish rabbi who was condemned as a heretic for endorsing the view that there were two gods or two divine powers in heaven. Avua is said to have ascended into heaven, where he is reported to have seen two divine beings, namely God and his chief angel, who is variously referred to as Metatron, Akatrael, Yahweh, or Enoch. Okay. Thank you for watching my video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. God bless y'all. Let me put some, I guess, a background.